Welcome to Formosa Dream Chasers.
We're your hosts, Mary Ann
and Ching En.
Please join us as we explore the journeys amazing people take in pursuit of their dreams.
And get insights from their experiences.
Let's hit the road
and get started.
Hello and welcome to Formosa Dream Chasers. Today we are joined by Harry Swart, a musician, busker, and teacher here in Taiwan. I saw Harry at a street performance and heard him say to the crowd of listeners that he was living and is living his dream. And so we're here today to learn more about his story and how his journey in Taiwan got started. Hey Harry, thanks for coming onto the show. Could you say hi to our listeners and tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Hello, Mary Ann. I'm Harry and I'm from South Africa. And I've been living in Taiwan since 2006, actually, so almost 20 years now. I like to joke with my students that I'm more local than they are.
You said you've been living in Taiwan for 20 years?
Yes.
How did you... Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was a young man in South Africa, and the employment opportunities were very, very skint. So I heard about Taiwan at my university, and I decided to get my bachelor's just so I could come to Taiwan and get a proper salary. Because in South Africa, and most countries, the salary for a teacher is very weak if you're in your native country. But if you go to another country, then they often pay more because they need you to come and live in their country. So they're going to offer better than for the local population.
Oh, so you actually came and studied here in Taiwan first? Is that correct?
No, sorry, I didn't mean that. No, but I finished my studies in South Africa at Stellenbosch University, and I came straight here as soon as I could.
Oh, wow. So, how did you find out about Taiwan?
There were posters. You know what? There were literally posters on the walls at my university that said you can make this much per month if you come teach it. And I suppose it was recruitment agents, you know? There were recruitment agents that promoted it, and so they were trying to get students from Stellenbosch University to go because our passport is one of the ones that's accepted by the Ministry of Education in Taiwan, right? As a native English speaker.
Right. Okay, that's fascinating. So,
yeah.
What was your major in?
My major was in psychology and sociology.
Okay, so you decided when you saw the posters you're going to give Taiwan a try.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Did you have any idea what Taiwan was like at the time, or?
Well, I mean, no, not really. I mean, my friend came to Taiwan a year before me, a year and a half. And so he was my host coming to Taiwan. And he seemed happy. He said I would prosper here. You know, he's my best friend from South Africa. We kind of grew up together. And so, hi, Michael. And so he gave me the, assurance that it's a good place to come and try out. Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that I loved studying history, and so I know a lot about the history of China and Taiwan. And so in broad strokes, I had a very good idea about what was going on in Taiwan. But not, of course, not from living here. Yeah.
Okay. And, having lived here for quite a while now, what are your thoughts about Taiwan and your life here?
Well, I mean, people ask me, why do I live in Taiwan? And Taiwanese people, they really seriously ask me. And I'm really surprised that they ask me because it's so safe and so cheap and so high quality. The healthcare and the food and the people. And it's so safe and so cheap, it's almost like a cheat code. It's really not normal. Like every other rich country almost in the world has huge problems that you can see if you walk down the street. But not Taiwan. In Taiwan, they're just planting new trees all the time. Everything's just getting better everywhere. It's amazing to me. And so I look at it that way. So for me, Taiwan has always been pleasantly surprising. I mean, in South Africa, you have to look over your shoulder all the time. And you have to be careful what's around the corner. And in Taiwan, I've totally become a total softie. I couldn't go back to South Africa now. They would rob me blind because I don't know how to lock my door anymore. I almost leave my scooter in my keys in my scooter and I get away with it.
Yeah.
I was just the other day, to give you a little example, I was walking with my parents on Skype, and I'm walking into my building, And I showed them, and they were like, look, wow, all those scooters are outside. They're not behind the gate. And I was like, yep, and look at all the helmets. So I showed them all the helmets that are on the scooters, and they couldn't believe their eyes that those scooters and helmets are still going to be there tomorrow.
Right. I understand. I grew up in the Philippines, so like you said, Taiwan is very safe and people here respect the rules.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just that most people are not desperate enough, right?
Yeah.
Most people are not desperate enough. Most people are taken care of reasonably well. It's not like other countries where maybe the Philippines, there's a lot of corruption, I hear.
Yes.
So like, the people aren't getting treated well. So they have due cause to be poor, due cause to be unhappy, and, to try to make a living maybe in less legal ways, If the officials are, if officials are pocketing all the money they should be spending on roads and creating infrastructure for business, then they're creating that poverty.
Yes. Yes, exactly. I totally agree with you, and I agree with you also regarding the living standards and safety here in Taiwan.
Isn't it wonderful?
It is. It is. That's also one of the reasons why I'm still here.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't imagine living anywhere else, really.
Okay. So, going back to your story, when you first came to Taiwan, did you know how to speak Mandarin?
No, not a word of it. No. But people were I always had somebody to help me, and, it was always a young person in the 7-Eleven who could speak 5 words of English, who could, show me. But I mean, I came at a time when everything was starting to become super foreigner-friendly. Like, I met people who were here 5 years or 10 years before me, and they were like, they used to drive the train. There was no AC on the train. And there was not a single coffee shop. There wasn't a single 7-Eleven. It was still super Taiwanese, like insular, like all just green tea shops, everybody speaks only Chinese. So by the time I got here, it was already halfway to where it is now. Very, very foreigner friendly. Everything is almost translated, and almost everybody speaks English a little bit, or at least they can listen to you and understand. So when I got here, I was grateful that it wasn't the way they told me it used to be, but it was still hard. And I missed South Africa, and I missed the food and my family and my friends, especially the first few years. That was hard.
So how did you adjust to, the culture, the language, and the environment? Did you do something specifically to try to adjust?
Well, I mean, I just, I got a good computer, and I started playing computer games. So I would teach, I would work, and then I'd go home, and I'd basically just play computer games. And so that was a good way for me to release stress and, basically forget that I'm kind of socially in an island, But there was always a lot to do. Like, there's always a lot of foreigners who are in the same boat as you, right? So they come here, and they're also bored. They're also kind of isolated. So there was always plenty of people to hang out with. There was always plenty to do, but I was more like a stay-at-home. I was just, I was partied out. By the time I came to Taiwan, I was kind of partied out from South Africa. I had so much fun in South Africa. I was never home. I was always hanging out with my friends. And so when I came to Taiwan, I was happy to be at home in my own space where I could do what I want. So that helped me a lot. I just kept to myself. But I mean, I did study a bit of Chinese. That was really fun. My Chinese is pretty good now. Taiwanese people are so easy to make friends with, like almost too easy. Like, I have to be careful how friendly I am to people, because the next thing they'll be messaging me every day, like, hey, how are you? Good morning, And I'm like, wow, are we so close now? People are really friendly and so easy to make friends with. I never felt like Taiwan was unfriendly or difficult to integrate into.
In our introduction, we were talking about how you're a musician and also a teacher. So
yeah,
I'm curious, like, how did you first get into music?
Okay, well, my family members are all musical, and my mom and my sister and my brother, we all play musical instruments. My dad also very musical. So I grew up with music, and then obviously you learn about cool music like, rock and roll and alternative and everything. So we were into that, and we all wanted to be rock stars. Everybody tried to play the guitar. Everybody wanted to be a singer, and people said I had a really good voice, and I was in the choir. that was always my dream, is like, wow, imagine I could make a living as a musician, as a singer, and what an amazing life that would be. But it's just such a pipe dream, and there's just so many other talented people, especially when you're a young person, you're surrounded by talent, I knew like at least 3 or 4 other people who had a voice that was similar to mine, so it didn't feel as special as I now finding that it is. Like, it didn't seem that special to me back then. And anyway, I had lots of issues, like self-image issues and lots of family relationship issues. So I wasn't a very happy person. And it was hard for me to be creative, hard for me to follow any kind of hobby, because I just didn't like myself very much. And I didn't believe in myself very much. So it took a long, long time for me to grow up, and to heal as a person, to be able to be creative and be confident and just be comfortable with attention. That was one of the hardest things for me, is I'm super uncomfortable with positive attention. And I immediately distrusted it. And emotionally, I was just like, I couldn't let people admire what I was doing. And so that's been, I think, the reason it's taken me like 20 years in Taiwan before I'm actually starting to do this now. Because I had to heal a lot of wounds, a lot of childhood wounds, a lot of self-inflicted wounds. I had to grow up a lot and learn to like myself and be okay with people liking me and be okay with people enjoying what I'm doing. It sounds weird, but it's really, I think lots of people have that problem.
No, it doesn't sound weird at all. I think what you said about liking yourself first before you could actually be comfortable with the attention other people give you, that makes a lot of sense, because it goes back to self-image and self-love, like you mentioned. If you're not comfortable in your own skin, then you probably...
You mistrust other people seeing you positively because you don't see it. So you're like, they must be deceived, or they must be lying.
Yes.
Right? They must be not seeing the ugly side of me that I'm so aware of,
Right.
And so, yeah, I think for most artists, many artists maybe, that's at least some degree that's an issue. Anyway, so the question was, when did I realize I want to pursue it seriously? Okay,
Yes.
So I would just practice in public in Taiwan. I felt like I wouldn't expect anything. Like, I'm not expecting attention, but I wanted to get comfortable playing in front of people. And I wanted to just practice in front of people because I thought I sounded good, and I thought people might like it, and I thought it would be good for me because it's very intimidating performing live. And for people to look at you and make videos of you and comment about you in front of you, and some people like it, some people don't. I mean, they never show that they don't like it, but they just keep walking, And anyway, I didn't expect this to become such a big thing. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen, but I just knew that I've got this good voice, people like it, and I should just follow this. I should do something with this. And so I thought I'd just perform out in public. I didn't even know the word busking at that point. But I thought I'll just practice with my bag open, and I'll just see what happens. And so slowly people started tipping me a little bit, and that really helped me build confidence and validated what I was doing. It feels like a bit like you're homeless, like, what are you doing out on the street, Like, it feels like people are looking at you like, shame, dude. Like, don't you have anything better to do? And once you start making a bit of money, you can stand up straight when you tell people you're doing this.
Right.
And they'll be like, oh, well, you're not making money with that. And I'm like, actually, I did. I made this much last week. And they're like, wow, that's actually something you could do for a living then. And so that's when I decided, I think this is something I should really seriously go for with all the energy I got. And so that's the point I'm at now, where I don't even want to play computer games anymore, and I used to play them all the time. I just want to busk, and if I'm not busking, I want to listen to music and learn the songs that people have requested, and get to know the songs I'm already doing much better. Just my whole life can just be music. So if I'm not at work now, you can ask my wife and kids. If I'm not at work now, I'm either listening to music, or I'm practicing a little bit, or I'm busking.
You mentioned earlier that you're living your dream. So what exactly is your dream now? What do you want to do?
Okay, well, let me put it this way. There's a famous quote by a really famous American writer and lecturer and mythologist, American guy. He said, "Follow your bliss and the universe will open doors for you where there were only walls." I don't know if you ever heard of him. His name is Joseph Campbell. And my dream is to follow my bliss. And what is a bliss for me Marianne, when I make people happy. Because I'm very sensitive, and that was part of the reason it took me so long to get over my pain, you know. Like, I'm very sensitive to how people feel about me. So if I've hurt people, it bothers me for a long, long time, and I can't forgive myself. And if I make people happy, I really feel it like to the bone. And so for me, it's like a circuit of happiness. Like, I'm playing the music I love, and I love playing it. People hear it, and they love it, and then I can see them loving it, and it makes me love it. I love the fact that they're loving it, and they love the fact that I'm loving it. So it's like a four-way of happiness, if I can put it that way. You know, I feel happy playing it. If I was playing it by myself, I'd still be happy doing it. But now I have these people that I can tell they're genuinely enjoying it. They can just keep walking. They're not faking it. They're really loving it. I can see they're enjoying it. And their enjoyment makes me enjoy it more, and they can see. And that's very important when you're performing, by the way. One of the most important things I've discovered is you set the emotional tone. People look at you for the cue of how to feel about your art or what you're doing. And if they can see you're into it and you're happy, they follow that lead. And then if they see you see them enjoying it, they love that very much. And they immediately feel like you have a connection. And they come talk to you after. And they remember you. So that is my dream, is just to do that. I just want to keep doing that as much as I can, make as many people happy as I can. And I feel like I'm following my purpose. Like everything is falling into place for me, you know, and that's my dream, is to feel whole. And it's very difficult to explain, but this makes me feel whole. Like I'm actually doing what my talents are meant for, you know?
Yes, I understand. Before we end today's program, you mentioned you're going to be performing this weekend. So
Yes. So on Saturday night, I'm just going to do a few sets for dinner time at Legends, a bar and grill on Yicheng Road. I don't know the Taiwanese name, unfortunately, or the translation. Anyway, that's my friend's restaurant. I'm going to do a little bit of an evening, just a dinner time, 6 to 9 there. And then Sunday, I've got two big venues. I've got FE21. There's a blood donation event, and I'm performing at the designated stage there at FE21, where the IMAX is, right? And that's from 2 to 5. And then from 6 to 8, I'm going to perform at, this place is, it's a cuisine hub next to the Gushan Ferry, the Shinhamacho Cuisine Hub. I'm going to be there from 6 to 8. And there's a big car show event going on in that area there. So hopefully we'll have lots of traffic flowing through. And so that's where I'll be this weekend. And then if you want to know where I'm going to be in the future, I'm going to try to be at all the big events in Taiwan that I can. And, if you follow me on my IG, then I will always post where I'm going and what my plan is. My IG is Harry Swart Muso, which is spelled HARRY SWARTMUZO. Harry Swart Muso. That's me. I'll also post all the stuff that I'm that I'm developing, and I'll post clips of myself where I'm live performing, and I'll notify everybody.
thank you for tuning in to today's chat with Harry Swart, a South African who is working on his dreams to live his life working with music here in Taiwan. Since that's all the time we have, that's where we'll wrap up the first part of our conversation with Harry. Please join us again next week for part 2 of our chat as we learn more about what it is like to be a busker in Taiwan and find out more about his plans and career in music. Stay tuned and see you next week.
This is Ching and Cho.
And Mary Ann Shoko. See you guys next week. Bye.